And we have Paul Tomlinson and Bruce Gardner.
I am chairman, it's very fast.
We have Paul, we don't have Bruce. Okay. Fine. And we have a presentation. This is an update on Nucor and the IS transformation program. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. So I'll take you through an update on the Nucor and IS transformation program, but the focus is on the Nucor quarterly update for that. So as I say, with Nucor especially, I'll walk through some of our key achievements we've had in the last quarter, the upcoming milestones, risks and issues, and where we're at in terms of project complete and our financials around that. So I'll just move straight into that if that is okay.
Thank you.
And actually we'll be asking you to note progress on the Nucor project and IS transformation program.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
There is further information in the pack around IS transformation. I won't go through that here, but there are a number of IS projects that have been completed and are currently in progress. But as I say, that is tabled within the report further. In terms of the program budget, there is no changes in those. The line highlighted around Nucor. Nucor is still operating within the budget that was approved for that, which is 151 million of capex and also 6 million of opex to make up the 157 million that was agreed to, and we're still tracking to that. We continue to reforecast in detail on a quarterly basis, with the next one due in January to be completed. In terms of Nucor itself, so some of the key achievements we've had with the Nucor in the quarter leading up to the end of September have been, well, I have up here selected reports have been released early. Pardon me. So these have been around privacy and the Goima team, democracy services, annual management, licensing and compliance consent. So what this means though is that at the moment in the current BAU operating model that they have within council, to run these reports previously they would have to run at least 5 reports from all the various legacy councils, take those reports and manually consolidate them. Many of those reports were only able to be run on a monthly basis as well. As part of the Nucor program, of course, we have to map how all of those legacy existing systems operate and where that information is held to enable us to move to Nucor. And as part of that, we've been able to release some of these reports early. So now in those areas listed up there, the businesses are able to run one report. They do not have to consolidate it because that one report has all the information as previously provided, and 5 reports had to manually consolidate. They can also, in most cases, run those reports as and when they are required, rather than being on a monthly or a weekly type of basis. So the feedback we've had from the various parts of the business around those has been quite positive. Our property consent sprints have been progressing. So this is in our consenting part of especially in our consenting part of our program. Those sprints in effect have completed since the date of this report, being end of September. So that has been progressing. Our end-to-end testing, where we test our overall solution, we were at the time of writing this at the end of September, we're in what we call SIT 2, which is end-to-end testing cycle 2. We have completed that. We are now well through our end-to-end testing cycle 3. And we also have another end-to-end testing cycle that we go through. We do a number of iterations to help to prove the solution to ensure that it's fit for the purpose for when we go live. So that is progressing well and to target. Our training needs analysis. This is about now that we have completed design, we have predominantly completed the build activities and well into testing. We therefore can go through understanding that design, understanding who are all the users within council who are impacted, and then work out what are our training needs analysis. So that includes what are the training courses that our staff, etc., will need to be able to continue to operate once Nucor goes live. Who needs to be trained? When do they need to be trained? How many courses will they need to be trained on? Where should they be trained? What resources do we need to have for that training? Things such as rooms and facilities and resources for that. So that training needs analysis has been completed. to enable us to therefore get ready and start do the preparation work we need to actually execute that training, which will be executed through April and May of next year. And Audit New Zealand also has completed a review. They did a wider review of which Nucor was part of that. So that review has been completed by Audit New Zealand, and the report has been provided for that. From an operational Nucor program perspective, there were no changes that we were required to make from that in terms of how we were operating as a program. But I assume that report is available. Or, yeah. So our upcoming milestones, finalise the reset phase outcomes and benefits. We have been through and are still working through a process. We have confirmed the benefits that were there from the business case and the regulatory, customer services and accounting services parts of the business. And we're in the process of working through the last parts from an IS perspective, especially around the archiving and decommissioning. So we have made made good progress in that area, and are close to completing the last part of that by Christmas. Data migration, test, evaluate quality of master data. Data is always a critical part of any program like this, and given our data comes from multiple of the legacy councils, all in different states and slightly different structures. So we've been doing a lot of work in this space, and we are testing it. We're on what we call our test load 9 for data migration, so it's the 9th time we've been going through this. We'll have done this at least 13 times prior to where we go live. Each time we do that, we help to understand what the challenges are within that. We make corrections to that or updates, or we go back to the business and advise them. There might be some changes that they need to make or some cleansing they might need to do of their data, and we work through an iterative process for that. And in our end-to-end testing, as I said, we have completed what we call our cycle 2 of that. We are now well through our 3rd cycle of our end-to-end testing, and in January we move into our 4th cycle of end-to-end testing that we do. Key risks and issues. These have been here before, and they haven't really changed in a program of this size and nature. Data quality is always, that's why I said we will go through 13 test loads and testing of our data. Data quality is critical and is a complex area, and we're working through that, and we're on track with our work through that. We also work, we've mentioned in the past, we've set up what we call a data governance forum within council. So that's where a number of people represented in the business can come together when we have particular issues we may need their help or guidance on, or we need to resolve, because the various legacy councils may have treated some data in different ways to others, and we need one way of dealing with that in the future. So that has been operating effectively for us. It's been in place since April or May of this year, and it's making a difference for us. The transformational change, there really are two, at a high level, there are 2 key activities we're doing within the program at the moment. One is around testing the solution that we have designed and built to make sure that it is fit for purpose. The other is in the change space, and that is making sure that not only is a solution fit for purpose and meets the requirements of the business, but the people are actually ready to be able to operate that new solution or the new core solution as well. There is an awful lot of activity happening in that change space. There are a lot of people who are impacted. For our go live in June of next year, there's some 1,700 people who will need to be trained, who will need classroom based training. There are a number of other users over and above that who may be read-only or inquiry-only type of users within that. So there's a lot of work that we have kicked off and we're doing. We have change champions that are in place within the businesses working with us. As I said, we've done our training needs analysis. We also have completed business impact analysis to understand what are the impacts in the various businesses within council as well. And we have plans around to how we will address that and how we will manage that with the businesses as well. The consenting sprints, as we put here, so as we mentioned at the last update, that we have had some challenges in the consenting space. We are working through those. We continue to have some challenges there, but we are making progress through those. we are actually looking to utilise. We have in a program like this, there are always challenges that occur and things that arise. We always have had contingency built within our plan to be able to deal with this. We will be using some of that contingency in that consenting area, whereby in February we'll be looking to use an additional 2 to 4 weeks to have an additional testing cycle around the consenting space for that. So we'll make use of some of that contingency that we have. So progress has been made in the consenting space. Certainly 90% of the build activity has been completed, but there is the remaining parts that we need to complete there, and we're working through our exec Steerco and our sponsors and SAP with that, and progress has been made on it, and we track that at a very micro level with them to ensure that that gets completed for that. So that is tracking to the plan that we have for that now. But it is a challenging area, and it is also a complex area. That's why we're making sure that we take the time and effort to get this right. In terms of our progress, as at the end of September again, we were 68% plan versus target, so that difference is really around just over a week's difference between those two. We are still around at a similar point. Obviously our percentage moved forward, but in terms of the gap there, predominantly because of what the extra work we're doing in that consenting space, but certainly it is within the norms of the program for us. Our costs overall, we are tracking towards our 151 mil capex and 6 mil opex, as I mentioned earlier on in the presentation, so we're tracking towards that, and we are doing a reforecast again as we do on a quarterly basis. It was due in December, but with the Christmas break we actually will complete that in January. So that is the update for IS Transformation and Nucor. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. And I'll move that the report be received. Note the progress. Have I got a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Cashmore. Questions, comments? Councillors. Councillor Cashmore.
Yes, thanks, Madam Chair. So, Paul, with 90% of the consenting compliance work done with the new core, what sort of efficiencies are we actually seeing on the ground being delivered by that work?
So the benefits from it will obviously come when we actually go live with the solution from June onwards. So the key benefits which really come through is what Nucor is about is really that consolidation, simplification and standardisation. So where the benefits will come from will be through the actual having a single way of doing the particular process that they do across council within that. There are certainly benefits within the business case that have been identified for that we'll be measuring and reporting against. But what will become different from the business perspective, especially once we've done our final go live as well, will be the ability for the business to be able to process, for example, resource consents, building consents, anywhere within the organisation rather than having to be done as it is now. If it's around Rodney, they need to do that within the Rodney system and the Rodney location, or people who are trained upon that. So that will help to take away some of those barriers which make some of the processes inefficient. The ability to then be able to move the workforce to where you may have some of those peaks and troughs within the work that you have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Casey.
Right. I've just got two practical questions. The first is, you know, the transformational change, right, when you walk in the door, what would you say would be the major one that the customer will see as a result of Nucor going live? What's the change in practice that will be most significant for the public?
So I think one of the things that they will certainly will notice will be there will be a much greater consistency of processes across council. So the experience that they'll receive walking into a Manukau located office or a Rodney located office or Waitakere or Auckland City should be in future the same experience, because people will be operating in the same way and they can have more, I guess, confidence in the consistency of that experience. Certainly would be one of the changes that they would notice with that. There also is quite a lot of work that has been done around our processes around requests for services, so also a much greater consistency around, so when a customer or a ratepayer may phone up around whether it be a noise complaint or something else, there will be an improvement in terms, or much greater consistency in terms of how they are handled and able to be reported on, monitored and also reviewed as well.
My second question was, could you give me an example, say in animal management, how Nucor is going to make a difference from July or from June?